Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. My name is Kaylee and today we are back on my island Rubble for another speed build video. Today we'll be decorating around 3 villager homes and making an abandoned community pool. So this is definitely one of the biggest builds we've made on this island so far, so grab a snack, get comfy, and let's get right into the build. Alright, this is basically the last build on this whole entire island, and honestly this area is a lot bigger than I had initially planned for. And I had originally planned to have a tiered neighborhood build in this area, but since this area was so much bigger than I had anticipated, the build I had in mind would have left a weird chunk of space in the very back of this area, and it would have been a weird size to fit a whole nother build there, and it would have been a little too large to just fill it with trees and shrubs. So I switched the idea for this build completely, and I have been wanting to do an empty pool, so I decided this area was kind of perfect for this. And I was super inspired by Boys Crossing. I'm actually using the codes that they made for their abandoned pool for my abandoned pool, which was the inspiration picture in the very beginning of this video. When I was first thinking of ideas for this island, I had actually thought about making this whole area an abandoned hotel with an empty pool, but I did drop that idea because I felt like it was too structured for this island, so I am happy to be able to fit at least the pool idea onto this island. And it is a cool different type of transition area, and I like that it's a little bit interactive because you can climb down into the pool as well. It also takes up a decent amount of space, and I actually wish I had an extra tile in each direction for this build, because you'll see in a few minutes, but you can really only walk around this area in one direction, because there are bigger chairs in this area and they take up a decent amount of room, but I still wanted there to be enough room to fill the outer area with trees and close it in and give it that more overgrown feeling. I know I just said that this is the last build on this island, but there are still a few small areas that I need to go back and fill up with some trees and smaller items, but I'll do that off camera because it'll just be me placing down a bunch of trees, but we are basically done with this island. And I don't remember if I mentioned this in other build videos, but before this island, I've ever only finished one other island, and that was my Kidcore Jungle Island, which is a very different feeling than this one. But I am so excited to have finished another island because I am a chronic restarter. And I think that's because I get so many ideas for themes and different builds and different just types of islands that I get bored. Well, not really bored, but I get so excited for other ideas that I just scrap an island and start that idea that I had, and this is just a constant cycle of mine. I'm also a little bit of a perfectionist, I guess, and if I make something I don't love, I get a little bit discouraged, especially when I compare my builds to others that I see on the internet, which I know is 100% stupid, and I shouldn't compare my own islands to others, but I feel like that's hard with the internet these days. But I really do think everything that you make is unique, and just because you used an item or a code differently than someone else doesn't mean that yours is worse, it's just different. And that's something I'm working on with Animal Crossing and outside of Animal Crossing with like my normal everyday life. And I hope if you're someone else who compares your islands to others that you just learn to love what you build, because this is just a game and it should just be fun and not a competition. Anyways, I'm getting off topic. Like I said, we were so close to ending this island, and if you are subscribed to the channel, you might have seen in the last week, we've had 2 rounds of community polls for picking my next island theme. And the 2 winners so far are a dinosaur jungle and a dark swamp core, so both are pretty natural island themes. And I actually love both of these themes, so I am glad you all really like them as well. But I do think both of these themes will be a little challenging for me because I've never done a completely natural island before. Even my Kidcore Jungle Island had a bunch of larger builds that weren't completely natural. So this will definitely be something very different for me. But when I do create an island, I like to plan out the island beforehand, and I know not everyone does that, but I just can't do an island without planning because I need to know a general idea of where to place things and what direction for the path to go to lead to the next build and whatnot. So when I start an island, I make a whole list of build ideas in different areas and basically map out to the best of my abilities where all of these different builds will actually go on the map. And to me that is super helpful because I just have to follow what I've pre-planned rather than coming up with ideas or builds on the fly, which is more difficult for me. I also know some people don't even have a theme on their islands, which is amazing for you, but for me, a theme really helps me narrow down the different ideas, builds, and type of items that I need to use, and I like it all to be cohesive, so I usually follow a color palette the best I can as well. And like I said, the 2 themes that are winning are Dinosaur Jungle and Dark Swamp Core, and I like that these ideas are similar in the fact that they're both natural, but they are on the complete opposite sides of the color wheel. The Dinosaur Jungle theme was a more warm color scheme with reds, oranges, and yellows, and overall a little bit brighter. While the Dark Swamp Core is a little bit cooler color focused, we have mainly greens and blues, and it is Dark Swamp Core, so there's a lot of blacks and deeper tones. I believe in the last video I did mention that I might keep the final decision of which theme that I choose as a surprise until we start the island, and I mentioned that I wanted to build this island on stream rather than making videos of the builds, and I honestly think that's a pretty good idea, especially with the themes that are up as a possibility, because with natural themes, I think it's a little bit more difficult to make specific build videos because they are a lot more fluid than a structured build, so it would be a little hard to define the start and end points of the build, so I think that style of build would lend itself more to long-form content like streaming. However, I have never streamed ever, and especially never streamed me creating my builds, so that will definitely be something different for me, and I think when this video is up, I may be streaming the following week or the week after that for the first time, so if you're watching this video in the future, hopefully I actually started streaming and I didn't chicken out and this is just all nonsense that I'm talking about. As someone who does watch a lot of streams, I have been thinking about what kind of vibe I want for my future streams, and I've taken a lot of inspiration from 3 streamers in particular, and they are Peyton's Corner over on YouTube, and then Nina Tries and Olive's Crossing over on Twitch. I watch a lot of their content, and I kind of want to take the vibe of their stream content because that's what I enjoy, so I think it's good when it comes to content creation to create things that you yourself enjoy watching, so yeah. And I have a super fun idea for a kind of like incentive for watching the stream, and it has to do with the number of likes and any memberships during the stream. And I am going to keep it a surprise until the first stream, but I definitely got the inspiration for it from Olive's Crossing because I like how interactive it was with the chat, and yeah, I think it's just fun. I also think it will be interesting to have 2 forms of Animal Crossing content on the channel because I do plan on continuing to make videos for my builds as well, especially to keep going with Inkblot. And I actually have a new series coming to the channel pretty soon, and I'm still doing a little bit of planning for it, so it will be in the future, but you might have seen a community post of mine asking for your favorite themes or any fun and unique ideas that you can come up with. So it does have to do with different themes, so I'm trying to compile a list of a bunch of different themes, and some of those I'm trying to keep a little bit more unique rather than just your normal kidcore or cottagecore island, like maybe a theme based on a board game like Monopoly or Candyland, which was actually suggested by one of you in the comments of that post, so thank you. So if you do have any more fun ideas, make sure to leave those down in the comments below. And this actually brings me to the next topic I wanted to touch on during this video, and it's that I have some exciting news about the future of the channel. I recently got a new Switch, and this is actually the one that I'm playing on Rubble right now, and that might not sound like such a big deal for content on the channel, but it's because I actually got an older unpatched Switch, and I did make the decision to mod the Switch, which is the whole reason I got the Switch in the first place. And I do know there is somewhat of a division in the Animal Crossing community about modding, but I honestly don't think I would have gone down this road if I didn't have my YouTube channel and I didn't have to think about putting out Animal Crossing related content. But I did want to mention I haven't done any of the crazy model swapping type mods that you might see on like Twitter or Instagram, where they turn like a fish model into like a crazy tree, or adding different items to the game that aren't actually intended for the game. I made the decision to mod my Switch just for the quality of life improvement type features, so before having the Switch I had to go to a bunch of different treasure islands or use order bots to get the items I needed, and for trees I had to do a lot of planning before the builds and plant these and time travel to build up a tree storage area because, as you can tell, I do use a lot of different tree sizes in my builds. But having these types of quality of life types of mods in the game is going to make it a lot easier for me to produce content, and my content won't change in any way, like making these crazy builds that aren't achievable for you if you don't have a modded Switch. I'm just doing it so it's easier for me to continue to make my normal build videos, and the time it saves from not having to go to a bunch of treasure islands, I can actually focus on creating even more content rather than just traveling back and forth between islands to get new items. This build that you're watching right now is actually the first build that I've created with this new Switch, and it's honestly pretty amazing, but like I said, this build is totally possible even without this fancy software. It's just easier for me when I film my content. I don't have to edit as much because I don't have to keep running back and forth to my storage. For example, this build took me a little under 2 hours to make, and it is a pretty large area. And if I was playing this normally, it might have taken me double the time to make it. So in the time that it took me before, I can now basically create 2 whole builds rather than just 1, which means more content for you to enjoy. But I wanted to share that with you in this video because I do want to be completely transparent about how I am creating this build today, and you might have already noticed it since the items in my pockets aren't disappearing when I use them. I can just use the same tree over and over again. And I did mention the new series that is coming to my channel soon, and without the Switch that series would be a lot harder to create, so I am excited to have this and be able to create new and fun things in Animal Crossing. Changing the subject a little bit, another series I am bringing to my channel is going to be some more island tours. I love touring other people's islands because I love seeing the creativity and getting a bunch of different inspiration for new builds of my own, and I've actually already recorded an island tour video that will be going live on the channel in the next few days. This island is super unique and I had so much fun touring it. It's definitely not like anything I've created in the past, but I love it so much. And being able to tour different islands has made me reach out to people in the community, so it's another way to get to know people, so my little introvert self is spreading her wings to actually talk to people. And both of the islands I've toured so far have been from people who share their Animal Crossing content on Instagram, so I think it's cool to be able to take their content and bring it to a different platform, and hopefully give you all some more people to follow on Instagram and maybe some other different types of social media in the future. Another idea that I've had for the channel is to introduce some new games to the channel rather than just Animal Crossing, and I've thought about a series where I play popular cozy games that I've never played and record my reactions to playing the game for the first time. My only hesitancy with this, well, two hesitancies. The first being, honestly, I don't really play any games outside of Animal Crossing. I've just been playing this game for like 3 years now, so I would be excited to try some new games, but I'd be nervous that I would have no idea what I'm doing. I know Animal Crossing like the back of my hand, but a new game? I'd probably get lost or not know how to progress, and I don't know how exciting that would be for you to watch. And the second reason is price, because I have seen the price of these games and it's a lot. But I would be interested in knowing if you would like to see me try some new games on the channel. There are a few that I think I would enjoy, like Coral Island, Cozy Grove, maybe Stardew Valley. See, my issue I think is I'm very picky when it comes to graphics. I don't know why, there are some games where I just can't stand how they look. Like, I know a lot of people love Disney Dreamlight Valley, and I've never played it, especially because I just recently got a PC, and I've heard that DDV isn't the best on Switch, especially if you time travel in Animal Crossing, but I've seen some people play it on stream or in other videos on YouTube, and I just can't stand how it looks when their character walks in that game. It's like weird little mini leaps for each step. I also kind of get motion sick with a lot of games. Like, for my birthday last year, my husband got me a PS4 so I could play Stray, which I just call the cat game. And I love that game, but any game where I have to control the movement of the character and like their eyes to see around, I get so sick. I don't know if it's just because I'm bad at the controls, but it really makes me motion sick. But as the excitement for Animal Crossing kind of dies out, I do want to try some new games because I do see myself playing this game for a decent amount of time in the future, but I actually might love some other games and want to pick those up rather than this game. So let me know some of your favorite cozy game recommendations, because I just now decided while recording this that I do want to try some other games even if I don't make content about it, so definitely let me know. Getting back to the build for a little bit, so far we've decorated the pool area and we finished the outside of Zell's house. As for the exteriors of the houses, I know I want to change them and make these two houses look a little similar, maybe the same build but just have different colors, but I actually love the look of Dobie's house, so I might copy that over for Zell's house but in a different color palette. And then we also have Joey's house in the background, and honestly I have no idea what I'm going to do with his house, because I wanted his house to look like he was the lifeguard of the pool, so you'll see in a little bit I tried to decorate around his house with some of the almost nautical items to get that vibe across. But as for the exterior for his house, I'm not sure. I might go with something on the brown wood side of design, because right now it's bright yellow, and yes, that fits the color scheme technically, but I just think it's too much yellow and too bright for the vibe. And I know I mentioned the idea of decorating the insides of the houses on this island, but I think I'm actually going to skip that. I know some of you might be a little disappointed, but it's just I'm not a big fan of interior decorating, and honestly, I'm just not very good at it. Plus, to be very honest with you, I am feeling a little burnt out on this island. I do love this island so much, it's my favorite island I've ever created, but like I said in the beginning of the video, I get so excited for new ideas that I get bored with what I'm working on right now, and that's kind of how I feel right now with this island, so really we're just pushing through to finish it. And I do actually have one more build for this island. I know I said I only had a few filler areas, but we do have one more, and that's actually going to be a members only video, and it's going to be for the campsite. I wasn't planning on using any of the in-game buildings on this island, but I happen to have this one spot left, and it's actually pretty perfect for the campsite, so we'll just pop that bad boy in and basically finish the exteriors of the houses, and then the island will be complete. And here I am decorating the outside of Joey's house. Like I said, I was going for a nautical-ish feeling for his house to tie in the fact that he lived right next to the community pool. And I think that's really cute that he lives next to the pool because obviously he's a little yellow duck and you know ducks like to swim. And Joey is one of my top 5 favorite villagers. I love all of the smaller type villagers. My top 5 favorites are Cousteau, Scoot, Bella, Joey, and Ruby. And for the most part, they are some of the smaller type villagers. I basically love all of the frogs and the ducks. There are some questionable ones in those species, but for the most part, they are a bunch of cuties. And then to go with the nautical theme, I'm also giving him a little shed next to his house, and this is just made up of 3 storefronts, and I figured this is where he would have kept all of his pool necessities like the chlorine and other chemicals to keep the pool clean. And that's another reason I was saying his house could be on the brown wood color scheme so that it could go in with the shed look. And around his house is going to be pretty natural with a bunch of greenery, so maybe I could give him a log cabin kind of feeling of a house as well. You can probably tell in this video I tried something a little bit different. For most of my speed build videos, I go between talking about what I'm actually doing in the build and just having some cozy lo-fi going in between me talking. But this video, I've tried to be a little bit more chatty, getting to know me a little bit more and talking about different things that are happening on the channel, and maybe getting some ideas of the new series that may or may not be coming to the channel soon. And that's kind of the type of speed builds I listen to mostly, mainly thinking of Dahlia Crossing and Melissaverse. I watched both of their channels and they are kind of what gave me the idea of making these type of videos for my island to begin with. So I tried to channel their vibe a little bit more because most of my other videos, it's me talking specifically about what I'm building and kind of like in an instructional way. So let me know down below which one you prefer, me just chatting it up in the whole video, or if you prefer me just to talk about the build. Both are fine, I just don't know the general feeling about either type. And to be honest, it is a little harder than it looks to just talk to yourself, but I think it was fun to mix it up a bit and give an update on the channel and the possible things to look forward to in the future. Also, with this build, I did try to keep in most of the decorating. A lot of it has been more natural, so it's just me planting a bunch of trees, shrubs, and flowers everywhere, but I wanted to show how it really looks when I'm decorating these types of areas, and it's honestly just me placing a bunch of items where my heart tells me. And I guess a small tip I do have is I try to look at the same area from different points of views. Like a little earlier on in the video, I showed me looking at the side of Dobie's house from the street, and I pointed out that I didn't like how these 4 trees look all clumped together because 2 of the same tree back to back, I just don't like how that looks. So I just went back over to that area and switched them around, and that's kind of what I do. I just try something, and if I don't like it, I just go back and try something else until I'm happy with the result. I will say though, I did cut out a few minutes near the end of this video because it got a little repetitive of me just placing a bunch of fully grown trees, and that's the reality of some of these areas. Near the back of the island, you can't really see the ground or some of the smaller details like the custom designs I like to place under items, so it's a lot of just clumps of larger trees and maybe a few shrubs and flowers to dent off the area every once in a while. With all the changes that happened in today's video, I hope you enjoyed the video, and I hope you're ready for the DA release on this island so you can come and visit the island yourself. I always love seeing the actual island of ones that I've seen created online because sometimes the layout is a little bit different than what I've imagined, because when you see something online it is hard to see where certain areas are in relation to each other, but that's part of the fun I guess, and like I said, I really love visiting other people's islands, so I hope you'll come visit this one, and it's something that we created together as a community and I'm super proud of it. Now here's the best part of the video, we get to see the final product. But that's the end of the video. Thanks so much for watching. Before you leave, make sure to give the video a like, comment, and to subscribe to the channel. If you like this video, make sure to check out the other builds we've made on this island so far. And if you watched to the end of the video, let me know down in the comments if you've ever been to a community pool before. Bye, friends! Also, here's a quick shout out to all the channel members. If you want to join the ranch, make sure to click that join button down below.